Can you tell how excited I am to film this video? So I'm going to be using the Desi and Katy collaboration with XOXO Colors. This is their volume 2. So I already have my base on because it's really not about me doing my base. It's really about me showing you how the products work on camera and you deciding whether or not they're worth buying for yourself. I'm just going to cut to the chase and I'm going to say, me personally, I think that all of the products are worth buying. I don't have a single issue with any of them. Well, maybe one, but you'll see that later on in the video. We're gonna move straight on to highlights. So I did not get Chasing the Sun. The one that I did get was Fuego. It's so pretty. Now, if you are the type of person where you're not into these kind of like blinding highlights, these may not be necessarily for you because they are super intense and super blinding. They're like the kind of highlights that will make you look kind of wet in all the right ways. I did not layer this highlight at all. What you see is kind of what you get with just one swipe. I always like to put a little bit of highlight on my cupid's bow here as well as my nose. And what I am going to do is put a little bit on my chest area. As you can tell, I do love the highlighter. I do think the formula is absolutely amazing and it is worth buying, but it is a highlight that is going to be incredibly blinding and it's not for the faint of heart. Just putting it out there. Alright, so I'm going to move on to my eyes, and normally I would go off camera and do one of my eyes and come back with you guys, but I'm just going to do my eyes here with you. So I'm just going to show you guys the palette really close up. So this is the packaging. At the back here you have all of the shade names and of course the beautiful packaging here. When you open it, this is what the palette looks like. Before I even do anything, I'm taking a little bit of tape here and putting it on the outer corners of my eye. And you just want to angle this the same way you would do your wing liner. The first shade that I'm going to be going into is the shade Basic here. I'm going to use this to set my lid as well as kind of buff out any kind of creasing that I may have here. And then for our transition shade, we're going into the shade Necessary here with a massive blending brush. And I am just fluffing this color basically everywhere. Not gonna lie, I had to practice this look a couple of times because I've never ever done like a black smoky eye, and I've always wanted to do one, but I always felt like I never had the right tools or the right shade to kind of get it done the right way that I want it. Have that on. I'm going into the shade Girl Bye. So with this shade, I'm starting on the outer corner here and then blending it a little bit higher than where my crease area is. What I am going to do is go back in with that first brush here and blend out these edges really close to my brow. Alright, now for the intense part, we're going to be going into a black gel liner, and the one that I'm using is from Sigma. This is again in the color Wicked, and you're going to want to put this all over your lid. As you can see, I am starting low and then lightly feathering it up into my crease. Now as you can tell, I am flickering out the gel liner just a little bit because I want it to be angular. Have that on. All you're going to want to do is take that same brush, flip it over, and go into the black shimmer shade, which is Game Over. And just tap this right on top of the gel liner. Then we're going to go in with a small blending brush and picking up a little bit of Game Over. And I'm going to use this brush to blend out those edges that you see here. So honestly, this is the hardest part of blending out this edge, but you just want to take your time and make sure everything is nice and blended and all those harsh lines are gone. Hoping my camera is doing this shadow justice because honestly it looks so pretty and it is such a unique shade. You can of course leave everything as is, but I want a little bit more, so I'm going to be going into Just a Kiss, and because I cut my nails on, I can actually go in with my finger. So I'm going to go in with my finger here, just use a little bit, you don't need a lot. And I'm just going to tap this really lightly on top. You see how that just gives it a little bit of a spotlight? Now for my lower lash line, I went in with that same gel liner from Sigma and put it in my waterline as well as tightline with it. I'm going to first go into Necessary here and buff that on my lower lash line. Then taking a little bit of Girl Bye on a small pencil brush and buffing that closer to my lash line. And then lastly going in with Game Over and really buffing that in my lower lash line really tightly. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is go off camera and do my other eye and come back with you guys. I'm going to put on lashes and all of that stuff. I'm going to line my lips now, and I'm going to first go into my Wet n Wild lip liner. This is in the color Chestnut Maroon. And I am going to fill in these sides of my lips because I am going to be doing a little bit of an ombre. And then in the middle, I'm going to be going into their liquid lipstick. And the color that I did get is a Mauve Story because, again, those are just colors I absolutely love. So I'm just going to apply this in the center here. What I'm going to do is take a little brush here and buff out the edges. Then right on top, I'm going to be going into the over the top gloss. I remember in the beginning of the video where I was like, there was one thing that I just wasn't like over the moon about, and that is the liquid lipstick. Don't get me wrong, this is such a beautiful color. It's a beautiful formula, but the only thing is that I hate that I have to constantly reapply this throughout the day. Yes, I know that it's not a matte liquid lipstick. It is more of a satin formula. But I do have liquid lipsticks that are a satin formula that I don't have to constantly keep reapplying. So that is the only con that I have about this liquid lipstick. I love the palette. Yes, the palette is $55, but when you start using it and you start swatching it, you understand why this palette is $55. Highlighters are amazing. I will constantly keep using it. I will say if there is one thing that you should get out of the entire collection, it is definitely the palette. The palette is worth every single penny and so much more. These shadows are so unique, especially the shimmer shades. They're worth it. This is the end of the look, guys. I hope you guys liked this video and I hope it was a little bit helpful. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as following me on Instagram. It is always linked down below in the description box. And I will see you in my next video.